You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds is hosted by Tatiana King and DJ BenHaMeen.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
Welcome to the For All Nerds Show. What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds Show. The voice of the urban geek, the podcast where we discuss geek and pop culture from the perspective of people love to lore. And as always, in the captain's chair, it's your boy, DJ BenHaMeen, a.k.a. Chewbacca Khan, Lando Californication, the Riz Skywalker, Han Dolo, Kylo Bent, the Acolyte work, Rogue Wonder, Why You're Lonely Tonight.
Okay, I like the Acolyte work. I was caught off guard by the Chewbacca Khan. Like, come on.
Woo, shout out to Miss Shaka Khan, the legend.
Yo.
Ooh, man, you know, I got stories, but that'll be for another day. And,
Jesus.
yeah, boy, yeah. Anyone who lived in D.C. from a certain time definitely has some stories about Shaka Khan, but...
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah. Some more visceral than others. And, as always, I'm joined by...
Tatiana King, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as the Lord of Lightsabers, Lambo Calrissian, Gin and Juice Urso, Gucci Mane DeLorean, Good Grief Karga.
That's fucking amazing. Rest in peace to the legend.
Rest in power.
Yes, to the legend. Mr. Carl Weathers himself. Action, Jackson, Predator fame, everything else. I mean, just, you know, right? Rocky, right? I mean, come on, just everything. It's funny, I always skip Rocky, like, you know, that didn't make that man. Apollo Creed himself. Yes, but, you know, we ain't here to talk about Creed or Rocky or any of that. As you hear from our Star Wars influence AKAs, we are back to discuss the Acolyte, the new series on Disney Plus, which dropped the first 2 episodes already. Right now, they're out there. So if you haven't watched them, you're probably going to want to go watch them and then come back and peep this review, because we're going to talk about the first 2 episodes. I personally have seen the first 4. I think Tatiana has seen the first 3.
Yes, we were given access to the first 4. And to your point, I saw the first 3. I have some notes.
Yeah.
Have some thoughts.
Let's see. Let's start off overall, right? Overall feelings on the series that we've seen so far, without giving any spoilers to the later episodes that y'all have not seen, obviously. At my first viewing, I was
sorry, I'm laughing.
Yeah, I was
very
whelmed.
iffy.
Yeah, I was whelmed. I was very whelmed.
Oh.
I was very whelmed. But
Okay.
I have to preface that by saying the first time I watched Andor, which I now consider to be one of the best series ever, at least, you know, one of the best first seasons, I thought the first few episodes were, especially the first episode, was whack, really. I was like, ugh, whatever, this is kind of weak, you know, and I didn't really feel too much about it. And then I had to go back and rewatch it. And I realized that, one, it was quite a slow series to start, but it was one of them slow series that everything matters in the end. All the characters they're introducing in the beginning of the series pay off by the end of it. Everybody has a little arc of their own. It's just an incredibly written story. Now, with Acolyte, I was still kind of like, I don't know, because, one, the tone is definitely not Andor. The tone is more akin to, I won't say Mando, because it's a bit darker than that. So
it's not really any of that. Like, they build this as a mystery thriller.
Yes, and it definitely has a feel of a. I didn't really feel the mystery. I didn't feel
the mystery part. It was kind of obvious.
I think that's my biggest thing too. I'm hoping there's more to it, but there was, like, especially in the 3rd episode that y'all have not seen, it's like there's a lot of reveals there, and I was kind of like, well, I thought that's what happened.
Like, I thought so.
And also,
Yeah.
bam, niggas got taken out, but okay, you know. So it's but I rewatched it, you know, of course, to do the review. I rewatched the 4 episodes that we were given access to. And the second time, I enjoyed it a bit more, I'll say. I still have some reservations, but I do like things that are being done in this series that are challenging the long-held myths of Star Wars.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they're doing it to the level that I'd like them to, but, you know, baby steps. And I think the baby steps are pretty good, and there are some great jabs and great one-liners. And I think young Guru, who famously had an episode of ForAllNerds where he called the Jedi baby snatchers, would quite approve of the Acolyte and what they are saying about the Jedi in certain cases. But again, I have reservations there because I feel like they let the Jedi off a little too easy so far.
I love your pronunciation of the Acolyte because it sounds like you're saying electrolytes.
So what is it?
The Acolyte.
I mean, what do I say?
Acolyte. It's just your
The
pronunciation.
Acolyte?
No, you've been saying so. I don't know what you've been saying, but that's that
Acolyte?
Texas coming out.
The Texas. The Acolyte.
The theater, if you
The
will.
theater in me, that too. My years in the theater of, you know, emphasizing and pronunciation. Yeah.
I have similar sentiment. As mentioned, I saw the first 3. The first 2 episodes whelmed me as well. I even want to kind of say underwhelm a bit. I also blame the trailer because I feel like the trailer hyped me up because the trailer is basically the first episode. And the trailer hypes you up like, oh, this finna be some crazy shit. Maybe because I saw Carrie-Anne Moss and I always think Trinity immediately and I always think it's about to be some fuck shit right now, you know, in a good way. The things I expected in my head didn't come about, and that's okay. You know, things don't have to be exactly what you think. Just because you see a certain character, a certain person, and you might have a connection in your head about what type of character they are, and that's not always going to be the case. That's fine. But even when I let all that go, like I was a little bored, to be quite honest with you. I was quite bored the first couple episodes. It is slower for me. It felt like, okay, you know, I understand it's more of a slow burn at first. It's like, where are we going from here? Like they're doing the world building, they're doing their character building, and I've seen world building, character building done in a way that's quick and to the point, and in a way that even if they're taking their time, it doesn't feel like they're taking their time, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So perhaps it's a pacing concern for me. I was kind of tired. And even this morning I rewatched, I rewatched 1 and 2 and I was kind of feeling the same way. Like, I was like, you know, because at first I was like, you know, maybe because I was just tired when I watched it. It was late at night when I was watching it, you know, like your surroundings and all that stuff. I was bright-tailed, what did it say? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed watching it. And I was still feeling the same effects of, okay, I'm a little whelmed. So not really I was kind of iffy on it for the first 2 episodes. Episode 3 was the turning point for me.
I felt the same way.
That's when I said, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're getting somewhere, because 1 and 2, of course, as I mentioned, is world building, but it also gives you the parameters for this world where it's about the Jedi. It's set 100 years before the rise of the Empire. So you said this is right after the High Republic.
This is the end of the High Republic era, basically.
So it gives you that understanding and gives you, okay, this is this person, this is that person, but it's still within the same confines of what you would know of Star Wars stories, right? There's nothing new per se. Until you get to episode 3. Then I was like, holy shit, what's going on, right? That's when I started getting invested in it, because I started seeing things I ain't never seen before.
And I think, all right, now, one where, like we said, we're going to give high, you know, level stuff right now. We're not really going to talk too much about episode 3, but I will say that while I thought episode 3 was the strongest in them all, I've seen this stuff before, because a lot of the stuff revealed in episode 3 is Star Wars lore that has been explored throughout the Clone Wars, especially throughout, what's the other series after Clone Rebels? They both feature all of that we see heavily.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not new stuff, and I think
new stuff for you.
Yeah, and I've
New stuff
seen
for me.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. But if you're a Star Wars head, it's not really like brand new. But this is the first time that we've seen this in live action.
Right.
So that is, something for itself. And at the same time, I just felt that 3 was the strongest, just in general. I also feel 4, which you haven't seen yet, is also a pretty solid joint.
Okay.
And I think that while it's not like you said, even though it wasn't the trailer that did it for me, it was just the idea of the Acolyte. We're going to see the origins of the Sith. This is 100 years before the Sith pop up, really. So how is it that there are Sith here? That's the question. Because to set the stage for everyone, the High Republic is when things are popping for the Republic, basically. Like, everything is going well. They got the money. Everything's just lovely. The Jedi number in the thousands. They are everywhere. Things are pretty good, overall throughout the universe. Yeah. And we don't have this idea of the Sith even being around. Like, they were a thing way back before this, and then they were eliminated, and they ain't been heard from, for hundreds, if not thousands of years at this point.
Yeah.
So the Jedi are just like, we good.
Yeah. And that's something that myself and Portia, shout out to Portia P, the Grand Maester of ForAllNerds, when we did our review of the trailer for the Acolyte, I had mentioned to her that I like the fact that this has nothing to do with the Skywalker family. This is something different. This is a story that we haven't heard before. It's treading new ground. Like you said, it might be for those who are very familiar with all that other backstory and the animation and stuff. This is stuff that brings them in, just like how Rogue One brought in a lot of stuff. That's fantastic. I just really appreciated, or that's why I went in here with, like, I thought immediately they was gonna hit me with the new shit. Like, hit me with the hey man, this is the new shit you ain't never seen before. At least, again, for me. It just took a while to get there. And but once and I could see now that, okay, now this is where it picks up. So I will say to people who, because I know that online, at least on Twitter, they're saying, oh, that series is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And these are people who only saw the first 2 episodes. I want to say, for those who feel differently, just hang on. You're just going to have to hang on until you get to episode 3, and then it's like a roller. I don't want to say it's like a roller coaster yet, but you're on that uphill right now, where it's just like you're kind of ticking along, and it's like, all right, where are we getting it? And now I'm thinking we're starting to get to the precipice. So I'm like, all right, now shit's gonna start moving now.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah. I expect 5 to be something, some serious shit go down in 5, because it's set up for it. But that is my other, that's my first, my biggest reservation about the whole series so far, is that, once again, I feel like while it is questioning a lot of the things about the Jedi and what is good and what is evil in this universe, I also feel like it's leaning back, or might wind itself back around to kind of like I don't want to say goofy happy ending, but a slightly more usual Disney-fied, I would say, ending where now, okay, we can say this, right? Because I think I did not realize this going in. I think this was the big mystery of the show, at least for me, but this is revealed in the first 2 episodes. So we can say this, right? That Amanda Stenberg is playing 2 characters. She is playing May and Osha, 2 sisters who have been separated since they were very young. And May was raised with the Jedi for a time, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You can say that. It's kind of a spoiler, actually.
No, that's first 2 episodes. That's in the first 2 episodes.
That's in the first 2 episodes. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about people. People have already seen the first 2 episodes.
Sure. Okay.
So it's not a spoiler. No.
Yeah. So I hope y'all watched.
Yeah, I said that at the beginning of this. If you had, you 30 minutes in by now, you too late. So May and Osha, she's playing 2 characters who have been separated. Right? Did I get them right? May is the one of the Jedi.
Osha is the one that was supposed to be Jedi trained.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I got him backwards. All right. Osha is with the Jedi, and May is not. May is not. I mean, and by the end of the first episode, we know that. No, yeah. By the end of the first episode, we know who May is rolling with. May is rolling with someone who has a red lightsaber. You know what I mean? That is revealed.
You know what that means.
Yeah, we all know what that means. That's the thing. Like, while they do get into some new shit later on, they do have to build you up with that shit you already know. And so they use these images and these iconic, uses of things like red lightsabers to signify, okay, we know where she's rolling with, and we know who the other one's rolling with. So that was the big reveal for me, because I did not know that going in. So I was like, oh, okay, that's ill, the nice twin story. But that's what I'm saying. Is this going to turn back around where the twins will be redeemed and both of them will,
No, I
fight
hope
for
not.
the side of good?
I hope not. I think that's corny. I think that's corny.
That's what I'm hoping not.
But I have some faith, because I was reading an interview, because the showrunner Leslie Headland mentioned that her series will show the shades of gray in the characters and shine a light on how the Jedi Order was so easily corrupted during the time of the Phantom Menace. And then she is introducing a lot of ambiguous characters, such as Khmer, Manny Jacinto's character.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, as you see May, two sides, May Osha, two sides of the same coin, the yin and the yang, all that stuff. So, from the very obvious to the very, the very literal to the very, what's the other word I'm looking for? It's subtle, right? Like
or figurative.
Figurative, thank you. She's trying to present those views, and particularly and this is why I really appreciate, and I feel like I'm going to appreciate the show much more after episode 3, is because 3, and the reason why it woke me up is not just because it was something different for me. It was because now we got into the real, which was, and it's so funny, you mentioned Guru. After episode 3, I'm like, fuck the Jedi. I remember,
that's been me. That's been us for a long time. Yeah.
And this was years ago when we had this conversation with Young Guru. If y'all don't know, go Young Guru, Jay-Z's engineer. Go back in our archives and listen to that episode where Guru basically gave us a masterclass on why the Jedi ain't shit. And we was just like, no, Guru, no. Just trying to, we was listening to him and trying to understand all that stuff. And we was like, damn, why are you so harsh? All this, that, and the third. After now all this time, and especially after watching episode 3, I'm like, I get it. Guru was right. That's the new t-shirt. I get it.
Yeah, he's right about a lot of things. And I've been accepted that, that wasn't news to me.
I didn't really accept it until after now years of watching more and more and reading. I was like, wait a minute. Like, these niggas is crazy. Like, and to see how other characters even react to them. Like, again, this is outside Skywalker and all that other stuff. To see people be like, these fucking crazy ass monks, or this, what do they call them? Or they call them religious zealots and this and that and the other. And at first you're just like, damn, they're mean. But then it's like, no, look at what these niggas is doing across the galaxy. And they're cops.
And that's the thing. That's why I always encourage people, if you are a Star Wars fan and you think it's fallen off and the movies haven't been hit like that, I really say watch Clone Wars and Rebels, because Clone Wars and Rebels has done a lot of this work already. And it was also, that was the big thing. That was one of the weird things to me about the response to, say, like The Last Jedi. Because there was this huge uproar over some of the ideas in The Last Jedi, which are basically some of the ideas that we're seeing in Acolyte, that we've seen in Andor, that we've seen in other mediums, that we saw in Rogue One, that we saw in Rebels and Clone Wars especially, that there's a lot more shades of gray when you're dealing with war than people want to admit. But when that was presented in The Last Jedi, there was this huge backlash. I think there's going to be some backlash to this show as well, because there is a lot of this presented, and there's a lot of it presented from the eyes of women. And so I think there might be some issue with that. But it's always interesting to me, because if you've ever watched the cartoons, this has been repeated over and over again. To me, like, there's even arcs on the Clone Wars where it's like, damn, dog, y'all did this one arc ago, but I guess niggas didn't get it the first time y'all did it last season, so y'all had to repeat it this time.
Of course not, people don't get it. And just people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So they've been on this, like, everything is gray. Like, I always talk about Ahsoka being one of my favorite characters, because Ahsoka is the one who calls out the Jedi for everything they're doing as they're falling apart. She's witnessing it, and she's like, this is why we're falling apart, and y'all ain't getting it. And, it falls apart around her.
Yeah. As mentioned, that's why I really enjoy from 3, and I know it will be better onwards for me, because of the whole really the catalyst of fuck the Jedi is happening right now for me. But also episode 3 really threw in the themes and the interrogation of what the Force is versus, what's the dark side, what's the light side, who's wrong, who's right, who's good, who's bad, is there such thing as good and bad, and really making you question your understanding and judgment of these characters as well. And that's the other reason why I started getting into it, because I'm like, okay, now you're challenging me as a viewer. Now you're challenging me as a critic to now think beyond, and you as the creator, now you're going beyond what we've seen, over and over again, and at least in the big films, right? Like, now we're seeing something very substantive, and I'm interested to see in how they do this, because they only have 8 episodes for this season. So I'm curious to see how they do this.
Yeah, and also shout out to the showrunner, because that's another reason why I did go back and rewatch these episodes, because I'm a huge fan of Russian Doll, at least the first season of it. I never watched.
I like Russian Doll.
Yeah, I never watched past the first season because I just thought it was perfect, and I really didn't think they needed more. And
I never realized there was another season.
Yeah, they did another season. I never went. I don't know. I was just like, yo, that was too good, and I don't want to ruin anything after that. Yeah, so it might have been great. Who knows? But so that's what made me go back to rewatch these and really give them another try, because, like I said, the same feeling you had. I was like, ugh, and I was just, I'm just tired of seeing certain aspects of it. As much of a huge Star Wars fan as I am, but then, like you said, it was the 3rd episode where it really started, the turnaround for me. I'm still not 100% sold.
What's not selling it for you?
Like I said, I think, okay, without giving away too much of later things, I still feel like they're leaning towards the Jedi are good. Like, that is still, to me, the lean. It still hasn't been shown enough of the other side. Now, while I do like the things you're talking about, and again, having seen Clone Wars and Rebels and all this, I've seen other people other than the Jedi and Sith use the Force. I've seen all kind of different uses of the Force, and all kind of different people who have nothing to do with the Jedi and the Sith. People who are above them, people who are below them, all kind of levels to the Force that have been shown already. So while this is also interesting, it's things that I've seen already, and they've already questioned the Jedi so hard on those things. It's like, are they just trying to lean back on, But
at the end of the day, they want peace. It's like, no, I hope they go hard and be like, yo, these niggas is fucked up, because they're already in that territory, at least for me. And we'll see what happens in 5, 6, 7, 8. But they're already entering that territory of these niggas, as you say, are baby snatchers, and they're this and that. And even during our review of that trailer, I had mentioned the fact that a lot of people don't realize, like, these niggas is space cops as well.
Yes.
And I don't like that.
That's the other thing. And it's always a really interesting thing, because they're not supposed to be cops. They're supposed to be peacekeepers. They're supposed to be the opposite of cops. But in the films, they're often portrayed as cops. And that was another thing that Ahsoka really questioned about them, was like, y'all are cops, and I can't be part of this shit. So,
absolutely,
she's out.
Absolutely. Can we talk about some of the characters? Like you said, for example, Amanda Stenberg, as we mentioned, she's May and Osha. How did you feel about her acting and delivery and all that other stuff?
I liked it. I need more. I need to see the whole series to see her really give May and Osha separate lives, I would guess to say.
Distinct personalities?
Yes.
Yeah. I think the children play, I will say, like you said, I need more time with Amanda for her versions. They and I'll talk about the young versions of them, but the young versions of them appear briefly in the first 2 episodes, or episode 2. But that young it's 2 girls or it's just one girl?
2.
It is 2 girls. The young girls, they did very well. They did very good. I agree with you. I need some more time to see. Like, at first, I didn't understand what was going on with. I was like, why is she acting so different? But then I got it. So,
okay.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann Moss, Master Indara.
I mean, fantastic.
Yeah, I like Carrie Ann Moss.
For those 5 minutes we got with her.
I could not shake it. I keep calling her Trinity. I know it's been like 20 years now, but it's just like, when I seen her, just the way she was moving in the child, I was like, bitch, this is Trinity in a Jedi robe. But
Trinity would have moved a lot quicker than that.
Okay. You gotta be quicker than that.
I gotta say, still, for a Jedi, she got taken out like a sucker. Like, You can't block two things at once.
Oh yes, that's right. This is about episode 1 and 2. People have seen it.
Yes, this is the first 5 minutes, man. She did.
This also why I said generally I was
trailer
whelmed.
got you off.
Well, episode 1, why I was whelmed and really underwhelmed because I expected a lot more. I expected a lot more from that fight scene. It looked very highly rehearsed. It looked glacial for me.
I mean, come on, man. And this is Carrie Ann Moss. 20 years since The Matrix.
Nigga, we got doubles and CGI and don't give me that. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. If you can make Martin fucking Lawrence fly in the sky at 80 miles an hour, you can make anything fucking happen. Okay, don't give me that. So no, it just I didn't like the fight scene wasn't giving for me. And then to your point, just the way that she went out, I'm like, you were that easily fooled. It just wasn't giving of what a Jedi master.
Yeah, no, she did get suckered. Yeah.
How'd you get served like that? It was just weird.
Yeah.
That was a turnoff for me. And
definitely,
maybe down the line it gets revealed that, oh no, that was some other shit. That was some Qui-Gon Jinn shit. She was fucking with them. I don't know, but
no, she did. There ain't no fucking with them.
Okay, that shit wasn't giving for me.
And there ain't no Qui-Gon Jinn shit because Qui-Gon was the first nigga to figure it out that speak from the dead. So these niggas don't even know how to do that trick yet.
No, right? They don't know how to. I just. It was questionable. I was like, how the fuck? I was like, I get it, made good. She got hands, but for real though, you were supposed to be the seasoned nigga.
Really? Yeah, it was she didn't expect that one. Oh.
You didn't expect that one.
All right, but moving on. Who else?
Fuck.
Because she wasn't there for much.
A few of these people don't appear into episode 3. So
what about your boy Soul? How you feeling about your man?
Lee Jung Jae. I fuck with Lee Jung Jae as Master Soul.
All
That's my nigga. That's Squid Games right there.
Oh, okay. I knew his face, but I didn't. I was never gonna watch Squid Games in my life.
You've never seen it, period?
Fuck out of here. No.
What?
No, I don't watch people get tortured. Ever. No.
Not for money.
Not for any
but it's a
reason.
It's a little bit more than torture, but okay.
It is. It's a lot more disturbing. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've read actually, when I was a child, I read the book, The Running Man, that Stephen King wrote. They're actually doing a remake of it now. But the book, it's one of them things that I shouldn't have read. You know what I mean? It's not like the movie. It's horrifying. It's not even like Squid Games. Basically, they set the nigga loose in the country and everybody is hunting him. Everyone in the country is hunting this dude and it's all on TV. And it's horrifying and it ends horribly.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, it's dark as hell though. It's beyond dark. So
it's like the Truman Show, but with death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horrible. It's Stephen King, so it's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm good on Squid Games, but he's doing a great job as Master Soul.
Yeah. No, I like him as Master Soul. I like the definition that he's giving to this new master. He it's giving. I want to say Qui-Gon Jinn again, but it's giving the gravitas of someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. So that's why I was questioning what the fuck was going on with Andorra. But that's another story for another day.
He's definitely the archetypical Jedi master.
The archetype. Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're leaning hard on that.
They're leaning very hard, and he's the more I believe, I have faith that everything's going to turn out proper.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. He's the guy that gets thrown off of the. I'm thinking of Avengers when they threw Homegirl off the cliff. He's the guy that gets thrown off the cliff because they're so pure of heart, shit like that.
Oh shit! I just rewatched it. No, he's also kind of an idiot to me. I gotta say,
Black Widow, I was talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. My man is also kind of a pure idiot to me as well.
You think so?
Yeah, man. We'll get into it more on our episode 3. Well, I'll say that. Let's save that for episode 3.
Okay, so since we are going into now the episode itself, how did you feel about episode? Let's start with episode 1. Again, I told you I just felt it was wild slow.
No, I mean we've
and
covered
it is what
that.
it is. Was there anything that happened in the episode that made you that you wanted to even mention or comment? Do you remember what happened in episode 1 that was worth commenting on?
In episode 1, I mean, unlike you, I enjoyed the fight scene for what it was. It was not fantastic, but it was cool. And
that trailer ruined it for me. That trailer made it seem like they about to pop off crazy.
Okay, see, I don't think I paid attention to the trailer for specifically this reason because I've grown to like as much as I can, unless we're doing a review of them. I don't watch trailers, or I try and like not really pay attention when I am watching them. So I didn't really. It wasn't spoiled for me like that. My only spoil was that just the idea of the show. I was like, oh, this shit don't. It's gonna start off with them in the Sith, and that's all it's gonna be is Sith training. So
it's
it's
gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it was to be dark. And it wasn't that. So
darkness.
Yeah, that was my first. But
okay.
Yeah,
so it wasn't dark enough.
But as far as the first episode, I thought like the first 2 episodes overall, I thought they were cool. Like I said, I was whelmed overall. I thought it was cool. I was like, okay, that's a dope little twist. I did like I liked her attack on the other Jedi Master, and then how the nigga just floating and chilling. Like, I really enjoyed that shit. I thought that whole shit was pretty ill. I like Manny Jacinto throughout it. Yes. I really loved him.
Manny's fantastic.
Yeah, I've loved him from The Good Place.
Manny's a bright spot.
One of my favorite shows, and he was a great part of it. So I've loved him since then, and I think he's fantastic. I can't say much more than that just yet. I've already figured out a lot of shit just from watching, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah. There's also Daphne Keene who plays Jackie Lon. Yeah. We love Daphne.
There we go. That's the brightest spot for me. Is Daphne Keene. Like, I'm from Logan. She is my girl. She played X-23. She is just she rules in that. And then she was also on the show. Why is it now slipping? His Marvelous Things? No.
His Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials. And she played Lyra. And that was just, she's fantastic on that. So, it took me even a second to recognize her throughout the makeup. I had to go look it up, and I'm like, oh, that's Shorty. And so, but she's doing a great job on this. She's a bright spot. Mm-hmm. I love her. Yeah. Definitely.
Now as I keep thinking about it, since we're reliving those episodes, I feel like 1 and 2 could have been one episode.
That part.
Like, they could have condensed that and maybe.
And that's why they released them both today. So,
because they also knew that.
Yeah, they know. Yeah.
Is that a waste? Like, they could have made episode 2 something else then?
Not really, because it's like, it could have been trimmed down a bit, I guess.
Literally everything that happened in 1 could have also happened in 2 in one episode. They could have condensed it to 1 episode is what I'm saying.
I can agree there. Because it's hard for me to even think of anything major that happens. Like, 1 ends with that, and then 1 ends with the lightsaber, with her walking up on the master with the lightsaber.
The red lightsaber, yeah.
And then 2 ended with
2 is when the whole, like you said, the floating Jedi stuff happens, but
what was the ending on that? Because that is one thing I do want to mention. The endings of these episodes have had me rolling, and not in a good way.
It just be jarring. It'd be like, okay, that's the end.
Yeah, and it's like these weird endings.
Very weird.
The ending the ending to 4 is that one. The ending to 3 is that one. So the ending to 2 is that one. Oh my god!
The fight, and then the 2 is the fight with Soul.
No, the ending to 2 is
It's the fight. It doesn't end on the fight with Soul, but that's the fight. That's the episode with the fight with Soul, where May fights Soul.
No, but doesn't episode 2 end with Jedi Chewbacca?
Oh yes, because he said, "Oh, I know where to find."
Nigga, I fell out my seat laughing at the end of episode 2. Let's talk about it. If we want to talk about a highlight or a low light from an episode, is this nigga breaking them smugglers' guns in half and roaring at them, and me not being able to laugh because he just looked short and like just weak. I didn't get that his head was shaved. I got a better view of that later on.
It has like he has like a man bun.
It looked like my man had on the yarmulke. Shit wasn't right. It was, fam, I was rolling, and I don't think I was supposed to be rolling at the introduction of Chewbacca Jedi or whatever.
I'm watching it now. Yeah, where they go to Kofar.
Nigga, I'm crying. I was crying at the end of that
I was just like, okay, like the ending, and the series uses the old school wipes to go between the scenes. So I don't
need that either.
I was sitting there like, okay, guys, this is cute, but I think maybe we're overdoing it a little bit, but
overdoing it definitely, and that one especially because that should have me. Oh my god, I was crying, dog. Yeah,
I did mention that fight scene with
Crying.
Soul and May. I did like that. I did like that fighting. Like you said, like just to see the Force used in a little bit different ways. I like seeing the throwing knives with May. I mean, that's what she does. But I appreciate some samurai ninja shit thrown in there with. I don't know. It feels like an amalgamation of a lot of different things to try to make it look a little bit cool and different.
What about the fight with Soul?
That's what I just said. That's what I said.
So you like that. So you didn't like
I actually like that.
That one worked for you, not the
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
and again, back to what I said before, like the Jedi or the way the Jedi have been portrayed in these live actions is always, nigga, I'm cooler than you. And it's very much Matrix, where it's just like, when Neo knows he's the one, and then he's just standing with his hand in his back, and he's doing the one hand blocking every shot, right? It's that all the time. And I get it. Your ass is cold.
Yeah.
Heard. But you can't be cold and get cheated on. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't be cold and they be like, look, what's over there? Pop. Like you can't
oh, you gotta be quicker than that.
Right. Like that doesn't work. So I believed it more like when Soul was also doing it, but his
even
shit
Soul
was
and
smart.
his man get kind of served. I swear she was gonna grab that saber and stab man.
Well, that's what they wanted you to think. They was gonna, but I felt like he had a little bit of a leg up on her. Like, hey, like listen here. It was giving like the uncle is like trying to you shadow boxing with the uncle. He's like, hey, I'm gonna let you get a few hits in for play, but don't really come at me, right? Because I'm gonna put you down, and that's what it gave me for. So like I actually felt like, okay, this is a level becoming, and I don't know, maybe it was the choreography of it where I was like, okay, this is better, but I just enjoyed it more.
No, I enjoyed that one a lot too. I just thought it was kind of weak that she threw sand in their face to escape, but
I mean, I saw it coming, and I was just like I said, they was on that ninja shit. Where it was just like smoke bomb, and that's the answer to everything. So how else you gonna get the fuck out of there?
Yeah,
smoke
I get it. So that word for me, the Chewbacca Jedi shit just had me rolling, dog. I can't get like that's what I mean. These little endings that they have at the end of every episode so far, I have not been understanding, and pretty much every single one of them has had me rolling. So yeah, that's
it's wild. The costuming. How do you feel about the costume? You had some comments about this whole Jedi robe stuff. What did you say earlier?
This is kind of something. It's just I'm sure people have talked about. I'm sure if I go on Reddit, it'll be all out there. But basically, right in the very first time we meet Obi-Wan, he is wearing what have now become known as Jedi robes. Now, back when Star Wars was made, he's supposed to be wearing just some random robes because he just hermit in the desert. But then it became, an iconic look, and they're like, well, that's got to be Jedi robes, right?
It goes hard. I can't, especially when you're doing a little silhouette, it goes hard.
Yeah, it does. And so then all the Jedi have to have robes. So that was always my question. The other day I was just thinking about this. Has there ever been an in-universe explanation as to why Obi-Wan is wearing the robes and no one realizes he's a Jedi? I guess he just mind wipes everyone he meets.
He could do that.
But
also the mysterious of the hooded, robed person that just walks around and you don't know who they are, where they come from, and they just blow into town and blow out. Like, that's also a thing. That's in every story.
Yeah, and I guess they could also just look at it like they're like, oh, this nigga's that old crazy nigga who wear them old Jedi robes.
Yeah.
Like that nigga don't make no sense.
He wears rags and just a bunch of fucking fabric.
Yeah, and they probably just like, oh no, he might be wearing Jedi robes. Like them niggas is all dead. Look at this crazy nigga. Because remember, at that point, the Jedi are all dead, and they all think of them as crazy niggas even more so than they think of them as crazy niggas on this show.
And that reminds me of a point I wanted to make earlier about why I was anticipation for this show, The Acolyte, is because I wanted to see a different story where it's gang when it came to the Jedi. I wanted to see when the Jedi was strong, and there's multiple of them, not that they hide in like rats and fearing for their lives. Like I even though I at one hand I'm like, fuck the Jedi, at the same time I would like to see stories, live action stories, where they prospering, right? And they out here, they flourishing, all that stuff. Shouts to love to Dallas Penn. Flourishments all around for the Jedi, right? Like they ain't got to worry about nothing. They all good in the hood. So I that's why I want to see what does that look like in this type of era versus when everybody's down bad.
Oh, well, they are definitely up right now. The Jedi are, all the way up right now. So you will see that in this series because they're like Soul mentions at one point there are thousands of even just Padawan.
Right.
And there are.
And I'm used to the whole, they killed all the younglings. Like, that's what I'm used to it always being, right?
Oh, no, this is well before all that. And like I said, this is even after the big wars that they had in the past when it was Mad Sith. Because there's this thing with the Sith, it becomes the thing of the rule of the two. And this is during the beginning of that era where this is the start of the rule of the two, where there can only be two Sith. Because at this point, there really aren't supposed to be any Sith.
Supposed to be any Sith, yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned this again because the Star Wars timeline tends to confuse me all the time. And I keep forgetting that all that Sith shit and all that was in the past. I keep forgetting. Or is that in the future?
What do you mean? What part of it?
The Phantom Menace and all that. Was that before?
No. The Phantom Menace.
Luke.
Oh, man. No. Okay. The Phantom Menace
and all
is
them
before Luke.
It's before Luke. Okay, that's what I thought.
And this is before Luke. And this is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. The Acolyte is.
And where did the Sith jump in?
The Sith jump in right now. This is
okay.
Yeah, but the Sith have always been around. They've just been.
Yeah.
They were eliminated from the galaxy basically. I guess when the High Republic starts. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know exactly how that works out either. I haven't really read the High Republic stuff.
Okay.
But they're not around right now. That's why when, even when they're like, yo, who killed the Jedi Master? They're like, who the fuck could do this?
Who can do it? Right. Ain't nobody.
Nobody touches us right now. So they're just utterly confused to it. It's not like later on where they're like, oh no, this nigga Darth Vader is out there killing niggas, rapidly. Where
you're like, they're the roaches and he's the raid. Like, there's something out there that's built to kill you. Versus you just, as we said, flourishing. Ain't nothing going on.
Ain't nothing going on. So, and the thing is, nothing is supposed to be going on during this time. That's the other thing. Like, according to the history of it, there isn't supposed to be any Sith right now. So this is there's going to have to be an explanation in this series as to what happens to whoever the Sith are in this series, because for another 100 years, they're gone.
Right.
Until the Phantom Menace. Okay. So we'll see.
Right.
So you got
Luke, and then you got Homegirl in the future. What's her name in the future?
Rey. That's all after that.
Thank you.
It goes Phantom Menace, and then Luke and them, and then Rey.
Rey and them. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I say, I was whelmed, but
costuming, makeup great.
Costumes great. I really, like I say,
the Bisheri and the aliens and why does I feel like every new show they got to start in a fucking cantina, like they got to start in a bar
again. All these are callbacks, so where we're like. That's I even give them credit for that. That was kind of like that. All that's the cute shit because this is kind of even like, and that's why it might work out for them in their favor because this is kind of like what X-Men 97 did. Where it starts off with a lot of nostalgia, and then it really starts flipping it on you as it goes along. Now, how much they flip it is where I'm waiting to see.
Okay.
And with 4 more episodes, I'm also wondering. I mean, they got a lot of time left for 4 more episodes, so they could either do a lot or they could not. So we'll see. I think which one it is.
I also think, and remember, because this is on Disney Plus, so it's quote a TV show. The effects look good.
Yes.
The stunts look real good. The wire work is because it's clearly wire work. So, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type wire work going on, but it looked great.
Spaceships look good.
Yeah,
Space
ships
scenes
look
great.
The CGI, all that stuff. And it's nothing like, and I realized it didn't feel like there was heavy CGI anywhere. Like they use it for certain things, like, like you said, maybe the ships and stuff like that. But otherwise, it seems more practical, particularly for the fights and things going on. Obviously when you see a saber, that's special effects, but everything else looks pretty clean.
Yeah.
So they did good.
They're not on Tatooine.
They're not on Tatooine.
I mean, they are on Coruscant.
They
you
do.
know,
I was gonna say they do go to Coruscant.
They gotta go to Coruscant.
Yeah, but
It's one of the two. You gotta have one of the two. You cannot have a Star Wars show without one of the two, I guess.
I was just gonna say they do go someplace familiar. But
Yeah.
I think it just reminds me of like when people say shit like Marvel fatigue or whatever. Like my Star Wars fatigue is just the same shit over and over again. Like, can we please do something different? And when they do something different, I get very intrigued.
You still have not watched Andor.
Same, but see, that's even slower. Them first two episodes was killing me. It's like it takes like 4 episodes before it starts. Like, oh my god,
it's the greatest thing ever made. I
watched up to episode 4, and then I was like,
you ain't even got nowhere yet. Like I tweeted, like there was this tweet going around where it's like tweet an image from a show that people who haven't seen it won't mean anything to, and anyone who's seen it'll devastate them. Mm-hmm. And I retweeted it because there's an image from a later episode of Andor. And if you haven't seen it, it's just a bunch of dudes standing there in white suits and they're about like looking like this.
But I know why it's going to be devastating.
Huh?
I said I think I know why it's going to be devastating.
Oh, no, you don't. You have, oh my God, you don't. There's no way to describe how 3 episodes lead up to that moment and it fucking will, like, I almost started crying looking at that image.
Oh.
Andor is something else. I keep telling you, Tatiana. Like that's why this show is like, okay, so far, because Andor is something else. Like it's just a very well written show. It's like one of the best well written. And like, shout out to Mello Brown, my brother, who said it's better than it has any right to be. It was the same thing I said about X-Men '97. It's
right.
Better than it has any right to be.
And Andor had 12 episodes. Oh no, I got actually close. I think I got halfway actually, because I remember something called The Eye.
You would have lost your mind by then. Because once you get past the third, I think once you get into the Eye and the heist of
I got into The Eye
and the heist, but the actual heist when it takes place, I mean just everything. By then it's rip roaring, it's rolling. But the heist. And then the prison sequence that happens after the heist is when it's like that's where that scene comes from, the men in white, and just all the way to the end. Oh my God! Like the final episode.
So I need to watch it. Well, I have to watch it over again because I have to. You
had to watch it over.
Damn near forgot everything that happened.
It's beyond. It's just too good. Like you can't really talk about like, oh, I've seen Star Wars and shit until you've seen Andor. Like you got to see fucking Andor at least. I mean, Clone Wars and stuff is long. There's some good and bad in it, whatever, But I would also say, you should watch some of the best of those. But Andor as a near perfection.
Random note to back up when you were laughing about when they was finding the Wookiee on that planet. That Wookiee's name is Kelnaka, played by Jonas Suotamo. And Jonas actually played Chewbacca in all the mid-2000s Star Wars films.
Nice.
Including
Solo,
so
he's not nearly as short as I thought he was. So that nigga looks short. It's the way they shot him, man.
It's the way they shot it, but no, it's pretty tall. But
he does not look. They played him in that introduction.
I thought Kanaka was a girl Wookiee. I don't know, but
I don't know. Played them. That's
your Wookiee sound.
That's how he looked. It was like hella weak.
Oh my gosh. Jesus. And obviously, like I said, we're gonna our episode 3 review will be separate from this.
Yes.
Since y'all didn't have get a chance to see it, so we're not gonna go through it. But I do know that I'm gonna be more lively when just really going through that. Because again, like I did similar to Ben, I did watch episodes 1 and 2 twice, just to be sure that was I tripping or not. And I feel this way. So
yeah, I mean they were cool. I think it does pick up around 3. And we'll get more into that next week on ForAllNerds. Anything else before we get out of here?
I would say make sure you guys do a few things for us. Make sure you go to bigdjenergy.com because your boy, DJ BenHaMeen, is releasing soon, very soon. The D-Day is almost here. Yeah. The drop day is almost here, right? Almost. No. Your signing day. I should say your signing day is almost here.
Oh, a couple months away. We are now in the end game, folks. Yes, Hendrix will be dropping August 15th. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con July 30th or whatever that last weekend in July is. I'll be out there. to do some signings. We'll be at the Titan booth, me and Mello, signing, I think, some posters. We might have some advanced copies. Who knows if you're out there. We'll have a lot of, goodies and all kinds of stuff. I'll also be on a panel with the esteemed Regine Sawyer for San Diego Comic-Con. So that's going down. So head over to biddjenergy.com. You can still pick up a copy of Hendrix over there. You can get your pre-order in. You can get a signed copy from Anyone Comics. There are still very few copies left. Very few. So head over to biddjenergy.com and hit that Hendrix link right there and get you some. You can also get some free music while you're over there. I've released my $1 Million Baby remix. Mm-hmm. It's live on the nets. It's picking up everywhere. So make sure you check that out. I got more coming, all kind of goodness and stuff. So, head over to biddjenergy.com. And then when you're done with that, head over to ForAllNerds.com, because that hoe is back in business with all kind of fresh merch that you can get for yourself. Support the mission. Support the family. Become one of the fam. Get you some of this good merch. Not this shirt I'm wearing right now. It's a Target special. But you know what I mean? Get you some of that merch that's over there on ForAllNerds.com.
Yes. You can get the Gucci Mane DeLorean shirt. You can get the Lion O. Richie shirt. And you can get the Magneto is Right shirt. Several colors to choose from as well. We have in all sizes. I think some folks asked us for some larger sizes. And I think we are going to be coming up with some 3XLs soon. But I know it goes up to 2XLs for sure. So definitely hit that up. And if there's something you want to see, also, support the store. Send us a note. Tell us what you want to see. If we're talking about sizes, if you're talking about different things, we have mad ideas and more designs coming. If you didn't know already, those shirts are our AKAs. So, we coming up with the goods now. And what did I say I was going to do? Oh, dark chocolate Phoenix. That's got to be next. That's got to be next for sure.
We have to see. Might have to do some Acolyte stuff.
And that's how you say. You say Acolyte. Acolyte. Theater.
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 Theater. Projection, Benjamin. Projection.
Fan Bros.
Hey, what's up, internets and the fan fam? This is Tatiana King for ForAllNerds, and I want to thank you so much for listening and watching the ForAllNerds. Make sure you like and subscribe to us only on YouTube.